Thank you, Kate. We welcome you to a very hot and muggy night in Toronto as the in Montreal, I should say, as the Alouettes get set to host the hottest team in the CFL. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers come in at 8-0, perfect in the most important category. That is their best start, Dwayne Ford, since 1960. Now, the usual suspects are driving this engine, Collaros and Jefferson and Big Hill, but there's some newcomers, very important too, especially rookie receiver Dalton Schoen.
Yeah, Dalton Schoen has been one of the great revelations. You heard the guys talk about him in the pregame, one of the great revelations of this 2022 season, and we look for him to continue his ways, one of the CFL's players of the month for July. But Montreal's got a star receiver of their own. He's hiding back there right now, but we know he won't be in hiding once this game starts. Number 87, Eugene Lewis, second in the Canadian Football League in receiving, 154 yards, including a couple of big grabs through the air last week against Hamilton.
The general manager and for now head coach as well of the Alouettes, Danny Machocha, taking over 3 weeks ago from Kahari Jones. This is game number 4 for him and Mike O'Shea, his 8th season as the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and it just seems to be getting better. Back-to-back Grey Cup titles, and as mentioned, Winnipeg's best start since 1960. Janarian Grant will be back to receive it. The Bombers won the toss, and they've elected to take the ball right out of the gate, off the foot of David Cote. Thursday night football in Montreal is underway as week 9 begins. Grant at the 10. Few moves. Alexander Gagne him down, and they will start shy of the 30-yard line as Zach Collaros comes on. What an outstanding year so far. 15 touchdown passes, 5 intercepted.
Yeah, and a fantastic game last week in that shootout against Calgary. 4 touchdown passes for Collaros in that one. Once again, close to 75% completion rate through the air, 270 yards passing in the Bomber victory. He's the reigning most outstanding player in the CFL, and he's having a MOP type of year so far now as they get close to the halfway point. Their 9th game, handing off, it's Brady Oliveira, and not much doing on the inside up front in that Alouette defense. Let's take a look at that Winnipeg offense, brought to you by Expedia. Yeah, and of course they rely on this offensive line to protect their quarterback and get that run game going. Stanley Bryant, the league's reigning most outstanding offensive lineman, leads the way at left tackle. Brady Oliveira with 110 rushing yards last week on 15 carries. His finest performance of the year. Looks like he's rediscovered that jump in his step. Oliveira, great last week. 110 yards at McMahon Stadium in Calgary in that Winnipeg win. Got only one there. It's a 2nd and 9, Collaros. With time, settles in the pocket. Wesley Sutton inside the 30 before Grant takes him down. The start the Alouettes need as underdogs in this game against an unbeaten team. Wesley Sutton with the pick. Yeah, Sutton comes up big. Collaros had plenty of time. You're going to see great protection here from his offensive line. Clean pocket. Looking at a pretty tight window, and I think he was maybe focused on the defender trailing Nick Dembski. Didn't necessarily see Wesley Sutton, who was coming off his receiver on the other side. Maybe a little bit of a spacing issue among the Bomber pass catchers on that one. And so the Alouettes with Trevor Harris take over in great shape at the Winnipeg 27. Their first possession. And it's completed to Keon Julian Grant, who gets it inside the 25. There you see Trevor Harris's numbers on the season. Has added 91 rushing yards. We've talked a couple of times this year about how that was an aspect of Trevor's game that he wanted to improve coming into 2022. That ability to extend plays, extend drives, make plays with his legs. Harris last week in Hamilton, 25 of 41. He was pulled in the final play of the game for concussion protocol. Dominic Davis came on through a pick. They were trying to tie it. Trying for the first down here inside the 20 on a 2nd and 6, and very close to moving the sticks on that play. They do indeed get the first down. Yeah, just a couple of quick hitters here to get things started for Trevor Harris and the Montreal offense. Hitch left to Keon Julian Grant, hitch right, quick hook to Eugene Lewis. and get themselves a fresh set of downs.
Getting it to about the 17 of Winnipeg. Alouettes trying to cash in on this early turnover. The interception by Wesley Sutton of Zach Collaros. 1st and 10. The Bombers 17, Jeshrin Antwi with his first carry of this game, and not much. Picks up about a yard. It'll be 2nd and long.
And that was the former Edmonton Elk, Malik Clements, with the tackle. As we take a look at this Montreal offense, Christian Matt out of Concordia University. The veteran right guard leads that offensive line. Keep an eye on Reggie White Jr., overshadowed a little bit by Gino Lewis, but a big play guy in his own right.
As Antwi stays in, 3 receivers to the boundary side on this 2nd and 9. Harris.
Let's go, baby.
And tries Hergy Mayala, but it falls incomplete. Demario Houston was there, so they're still in position to get some points off that turnover as the field goal unit comes on.
And here you'll see Mayala, the middle of those 3 receivers. It's the right read. Ball thrown a little bit behind him there.
So on comes David Cote for Montreal. 3 of 4 last week. Longest from 44. He missed from 51. This one, a chip shot by comparison. For points off the turnover. So a quick start. Montreal, after the Sutton interception, they cash in with 3, and they will kick off for a 2nd time as Zach Collaros and the Winnipeg offense get ready in an early hole here on Thursday Night Football, presented by 7-Eleven.
Thursday Night Football is brought to you by 7-Eleven, where you get fast 24/7 delivery on game day, including Slurpee drinks.
Alouettes fans hoping that their underdog team can be the first to beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this season. Off to a good start. Interception leading to a field goal. So here comes Winnipeg now. Zach Collaros, 2nd possession. At the 40. Passing on 1st down. Steps up and he completes that one, threading the needle to the rookie Dalton Schoen.
Yeah, Schoen in the hole, working back towards his quarterback here. Here you'll see push up field, work back into the hole. Quick 1st down there for the Bombers, unfazed by their slow start.
Leading the CFL in receiving touchdowns with 6. He had 2 last week in their comeback victory over the Stampeders in Calgary. Had just enough for a 1st down up at the 50. Throwing again to the left, and that was intended for Nick Dembski, who came back to the Bomber lineup last week and had a couple of touchdowns of his own.
We'll take a look at this Montreal starting defense. Michael Wakefield gets the start at D tackle with, as Ches mentioned, Michael Moore bumping outside to replace Avery Ellis. Tyrese Beverett continues to start at the will linebacker spot, weak side, although Chris Aki is now off the injured list and available. Rodney Randall Jr. holding down the fort at that always tough boundary corner spot. He'll find himself matched up against Dalton Schoen right here.
2nd and 10, Winnipeg. Just shy of midfield, flags come out with the snap of the ball. And Mike Moore got to him. That ball is loose. And it looks like Montreal has picked it up, but as mentioned, a flag with the snap of the ball.
Offside. Montreal number 44. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Which helps explain how he got to Zach Collaros, Mike Moore, starting on the end.
Yeah, there you see him, bottom of your screen, left side of that defensive line, lining up at the end spot this week. Creeping a little bit there, and he got caught.
Just shy of midfield, flags come out with the snap of the ball.
I'm sure for Mike Moore, making the start at defensive end as a guy who has traditionally played on the inside, he's very aware of wanting to have a quick get off this week and got caught that time.
2nd and 5 at midfield. That's complete over the middle. It's Drew Wolotarski with another first down for Winnipeg as they get into Alouette territory for the first time in this game, a pickup of 14.
Yeah, and as I said, Winnipeg seems to have bounced back from that interception on the opening possession, but not a shock maybe to see Winnipeg start slowly as they've been in 3 different time zones in the last 5 or 6 days. Mountain Time playing in Calgary on Saturday, and now on a short week. A stop at home
Procedure,
in Central Time.
Winnipeg, number 51. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
They get the right tackle, Jamarcus Hardrick, on the procedure call, so 5 yards back now after they had gotten close to the Montreal 40, scrimmaging around the 46, and a 1st and 15. Hardrick, veteran, tackle, all-star, played his college ball at Nebraska. Lively crowd here at Percival Molson Stadium on this 1st and 15 Winnipeg. Some heat is coming as they flush out Collaros. Dumps it off to an open receiver, but a flag comes out with the catch by Rasheed Bailey. Did he go out of bounds and then come back in?
Keep watching bottom of your screen. There's the receiver right along the sideline. Just take a look. It definitely out. Wasn't forced out and back into play. Illegal participation.
Dave Foxcroft is the referee as they continue to discuss it before his announcement.
Illegal participation, Winnipeg, number 88. That penalty's declined is an incomplete pass, second down.
So being 15 yards to a first down, the Alouettes choose to decline that penalty, 2nd and 15.
And now you don't necessarily get Winnipeg in a lot of these opportunities to sort of pin back your ears and get after Zach Collaros, but this is one at 2nd and 15. We'll see if Montreal was able to take advantage.
The Alouettes had no sacks last week in Hamilton. They have only 1 sack after a great start to the season in the last 3 games. From the Alouette 46, Collaros. And the blitz is coming, and down he goes. And there is their sack. Coming in, the field half, Najee Murray, to take Collaros down from Steubenville, Ohio. 2 from Steubenville involved in that play.
Keep an eye at top right corner of your screen. You're going to see Najee Murray bringing the heat. A little bit of a delay. The linebacker occupies the running back. Nobody there to take up the secondary blitz.
So punting it away, Steubenville sacking Steubenville. That one down around the 10 on that punt by Mark Leggio. Punt to 44 yards. Another big defensive play for the Alouettes. This time Najee Murray, Montreal football. I mentioned that big play by Najee Murray and another native of Steubenville, Zach Collaros. With more, let's go down to John Liu.
Yeah, Rod, you know what, Steubenville, Ohio, the favorite sons would definitely be Dean Martin and pitcher Raleigh Fingers, but Zach Collaros is right up there, and Najee Murray is making a strong bid to be in the conversation. Collaros says that he has known Najee Murray since he was 9 years old, that the two went to Steubenville High School together, and eventually, Najee Murray was a water boy for Collaros' high school team, and Collaros remembers Murray is capable of doing not normal things because of his speed, IQ, instincts, and physicality, despite being only 5'8". And when Collaros was a Cincinnati Bearcat, he recalls watching a game in Murray's high school senior year when he hit an opponent so hard that officials had to stop the game, and now the two high school alumni are squaring off as CFL opponents for the 2nd time in their respective careers.
Thank you, John. I'm sure Zach preferred him getting water as opposed to coming in a blitz and taking him down. So
hometown bragging rights are on the line, though. Here.
There you go. 1st and 10. Trevor Harris hands off. It's the new running back, Tavian Feaster went to Clemson and later South Carolina, getting his first carry.
And we'll take a look at the Blue Bomber defense, which is happy to welcome back one Jackson Jeffcoat at defensive end this week. He returns from injury. Donald Rutledge Jr. has been a nice find on the defensive side of the ball, one of the top first-year players in the Canadian Football League. University of Toronto product Nick Hallett makes his second consecutive start at free safety for the Bombers.
Jesh Renantwi back in at running back, and he has the ball on a 2nd and 2, trying to find his way to that first down mark, and not quite there by the looks of things.
Antwi, who has mostly held down the fort at running back since the week 1 William Stanback injury. Shared a little bit of time back there with Walter Fletcher previously, and as you mentioned, Feaster joining the Alouettes roster this week.
And Danny Machocha not taking any chances this early in the game, and a 3rd and inches. They will punt it away. Joseph Zima standing back at the Alouette 5. And Janarian Grant inside the Winnipeg 45. Getting chased back to that is 36. Janarian Grant, after a punt of 54 yards, tries to find the edge. Christophe Normand couldn't quite get him. They do get him pushed out of bounds. Pierre-Luc Caron, the long snapper, after a 24-yard return. Nick Dembski, talk about a return. A big one in Calgary last week for the Bombers. They trail by 3. They have the ball back across midfield. The Bombers kept winning without Nick Dembski while he was away, but you can tell they were certainly glad to have him back, Dwayne, last week in Calgary.
Yeah, Nick Dembski brings so much to the table for this team. Obviously a versatile offensive performer. You look at his immediate impact upon returning to the lineup against Calgary last week. 7 catches, 69 yards. Most importantly, a couple of touchdowns for the University of Manitoba product out of Oak Park High School.
And Greg Ellingson once again not available to Winnipeg in this game. Handing off Oliveira, who dives down to about the 46 of the Alouettes.
Brady Oliveira, big game for him last week in Calgary as well. As we mentioned, over 100 yards on the ground. Kind of a slow start rushing-wise for the Bombers in the post-Andrew Harris era. Oliveira and Johnny Augustine sharing time in that backfield.
He was running hard at McMahon last week in that victory by Winnipeg to improve to 8-0. 2nd and 6 at the Montreal 46. Deep ball, Collaros. Coverage there by Wesley Sutton on Janarian Grant. Sutton with an interception earlier this game. Falls incomplete. 3rd down.
We'll keep an eye here as they try to take advantage of the speed of Janarian Grant in the slot. As mentioned, he's getting an opportunity to start in the continued absence of veteran Greg Ellingson. Good coverage on the play there from Wesley Sutton.
Winnipeg will punt it. Mark Leggio. Just from the Bombers' side of midfield towards the end zone and in for Warren Newman, who takes it out. Doesn't give up the point, takes it out instead. Warren Newman in his CFL debut, that was his first touch. And on that return, they still haven't given up the point after the 51-yard punt, but they will start once again deep in their own zone. A 3-point lead on a Thursday night in Montreal. 9 in the CFL continues by Mitchell and the Stampeders taking on Caleb Evans and the Ottawa Redblacks. Victory last week, Calgary. Such a good game against Winnipeg, narrowly losing that one. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific only.
Yeah, great matchup as you see Warren Newman, the new returner for the Alouettes. Getting a little bit of a feedback there from Coach Byron Archambault.
Newman's decision to return it out of the end zone, hem Montreal deep instead of giving up the point. And so it'll be a second down now facing the Alouettes. Right up to the 5, so pickup of 3 yards on that play.
Yeah, going back to that punt return, Newman kind of let Mark Leggio off the hook as Leggio was trying to go coffin corner. It bounced just in bounds and then into the end zone. Winnipeg obviously playing for field position with Newman bringing it out. They got what they wanted.
Second down and 7. Complete to Jake Winnipeg, who's had a slow start to this 2022 season, but he gets a big first down as the Alouettes try to get some breathing room in their own zone.
Yeah, Winnipeg, a guy that this team would love to get going. You know, much talk obviously about the touchdown Jake moniker, which has been kind of part of his stats line going back to college. He's always been able to find his way to the end zone, but not so much here in 2022. But even overall, just kind of struggling to find his groove.
First down, though. Harris dancing out of the pocket, cutting back in, and he's hit. And taken down, Ricky Walker for the Bombers. Has the sack, and his first sack of the season.
Yeah, Ricky Walker getting in on that Winnipeg D-line rotation. Nice rip move. The inside just keeps the motor running as Willie Jefferson forced Trevor Harris to pull up here. You see 96 Walker coming from the backside, lowering the boom on the Alouettes quarterback.
So 2nd and 15. They get pushed back another 5 yards from their 8. Harris facing some more heat. Cameron Lawson was chasing him, and that pass shy of the 20, and not nearly enough for a first down, as the Alouettes will have to kick it away.
So it looks like, again, going back to that situation with the punt, Winnipeg playing the field position game. It appears to be working out for them pretty well here as the defense comes up with a stop, hemming Montreal deep in their own territory.
They gave up 1 first down, but then got the sack to push them back. So Zima standing inside his 5. They go back and set up a return here for Janarian Grant. It's off to the right, and he takes it at the 45. Gets up to midfield after a punt of 48, and a good return for Janarian Grant. As once again, Zach Collaros will start in the Alouette zone. So look at what he did last week at McMahon Stadium.
Yeah, big matchup, obviously, between Winnipeg and Calgary. Battling near the top of that West Division, Zach Collaros delivered in that playoff-like matchup. 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions for the league's reigning MOP as he continues his winning ways.
That's since 2015. He had a great year in 15 with Hamilton until it was ended early by injury. But 5 4+ touchdown passing games to lead the way in the last 7 years in that department. On a 1st and 10, play action fake. And they got him, and the ball comes loose. And the Alouettes have it in the hands of Nick Usher. The Alouettes defense strikes again. They get to Collaros, and they get the ball, forcing the 2nd turnover in this game. Darius Pickett coming in. And Nick Usher mopping up.
Well, Darius Pickett from his nickel linebacker spot. You're going to see him coming on the blitz. We've talked a lot about this guy in recent weeks. Playmaker, clean off the edge. When you're talking about a guy converted DB playing in the box, he gets involved in that blitz package with a lot of linebackers and defensive linemen. Zach Collaros with that move would be able to lose those guys. He'd be able to shake them, but not the case with an athlete like Darius Pickett. He's able to stay on him.
From the Winnipeg 40, throwing it back, setting up the double pass to Eugene Lewis, looking deep down the field for Hergy Mayala. Bumped into Winston Rose, had it in his hands for a second, but it falls incomplete. So right away after the turnover, the Alouette offense trying to catch the Bomber D napping.
Yeah, you knew what was coming as soon as Gino Lewis caught this football, and he was sort of looking for the laces. He's thrown a couple of touchdown passes in his career, former high school quarterback. Nice job protecting there from Reggie White and Jake Winicky. And a terrific adjustment by Mayala to even put himself in position to make this grab, but unable to hold on as he goes to the ground.
That close for Hergy Mayala. And a touchdown last week in Hammond to Trevor Harris on a 2nd and 10 from the 40. Completes it over the middle to Winicky again. Breaks a tackle, then pounds the turf, thinking he could have got more, but he got enough for a first down inside the Winnipeg 30.
A couple of early catches here for the Montreal slot back. Here you'll see him line up as the number 3 receiver, 3rd in from the boundary, working across the field underneath. As Harris hits him in stride, allows him to defeat that first would-be tackler. Nice job by Demario Houston to hang on.
Demario Houston with the tackle on Winicky. Last play of the first quarter in the hands of Jess Renante. Right side, inside the 25, getting it down closer to about the 21. It should be the end of the first quarter now, and an interesting quarter for the Alouettes. A 3-point lead, but some big defensive plays against Zach Collaros and that Blue Bomber offense. Alouettes, underdog sure. But that isn't showing so far. Through 15, Montreal at home leads the unbeaten Bombers. Through one quarter in Montreal, it's the Alouettes leading the Bombers. Big defensive plays and those turnovers looming large so far in this game. But Dwayne Ford, I don't know if we should be talking about turnovers when we could be talking about poutine. What do you think?
Well, it seems appropriate given the newest addition to the Montreal Alouettes menu here at Molson Stadium.
Oh, I can just open it up here. Oh, I see.
Full-size helmet of Putin.
There you go. Yeah, this is the latest in cuisine here. And according to my dietitian, Dr. Milton Eugene Stiegel I, I'm allowed to look at it for 10 minutes, but no longer.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of vegetables in that dish, so that's not on Milt's diet.
Well, the potatoes are, right? That's how you justify it. Yeah. So, Dwayne, maybe you and I can look at it some more later on. What do you think? I'll tell you what, it's so hot up here, it'll stay warm for a while.
Yeah, nothing screams refreshing on a hot night.
Here's Jess Renantwe. The Alouettes start the second quarter in business, deep in Winnipeg's territory. This after Winnipeg's last possession when they forced a fumble in Zach Collaros.
And Jess Renantwe in a battle of Canadian running backs here tonight. Off to a solid start for the Montreal Alouettes.
5 carries, 19 yards. Antwi 1st and 10 at the Winnipeg 13. Looking for more points off turnovers. On that first down carry, Antwi again, and he gets it down to the 10.
And Antwi comes up hobbling. That'll bring Tavian Feaster back to the Montreal backfield.
As you said, Antwi was the one in Calgary on opening night, stepping up after that injury to William Stanback. Busted off a 70-yard run. Big night for the grad from the University of Calgary, but injured now, and Feaster is on, number 40, new running back for the Alouettes.
We'll take a look at the tail end of this one to see if he maybe got twisted up a little bit. Like that left foot. Maybe bent awkwardly as he went down. Antwi, as you mentioned, University of Calgary product. His offensive coordinator there was Pat Sheehan, in the very small world of Canadian football. Sheehan also coached Antwi's running back coach here with the Alouettes.
And there is William Stanback. Had scored a touchdown early in that game at McMahon in week 1, back on June the 9th, and then was injured before halftime, and Antwi came on and did an excellent job standing in, and that's William Stanback. We're talking about the leading rusher by far in the Canadian Football League in 2021. So Feaster is in at running back beside Trevor Harris on a 2nd and 7 at the Winnipeg 10. Early movement. Willie Jefferson is in, but you know when the flags are coming out. He was across the line of scrimmage, moving in on Harris with the snap of the ball.
Offside, Winnipeg number 5. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Left side of that defensive line, right side of your screen. It's Willie Jefferson. He's early, but watch him explode here off that edge.
So suddenly a 2nd and 2 at the Winnipeg 5. Montreal's 3 points came off the first turnover. Still with the ball after the second Blue Bomber turnover. Trying to find the end zone and make it a 2-score game here early in the second quarter. Handing off. Feaster. Nowhere to go. Bombers have that. Casey Sales, Ricky Walker in on that tackle, and now a 3rd and 2, and they're very close.
Yeah, you mentioned the interior guys on that defensive line, Sales and Walker, completely disrupting this play. You know, and that's a nice job by Dietrich Nichols as well, the halfback. He's in kind of a contained position there, taking on the block of a much bigger guy and an offensive lineman, but holding that contained, which is what forced Feaster to have to turn back inside, where he found Walker and Sales waiting.
Hergy Mayala and Jake Winicky both came in. They're going for it on 3rd down. It is a 3rd and 2. 8th play of the drive from the 5-yard line. Touchdown or bust for the Alouettes here. Into the end zone for Eugene Lewis, but no. Got the ball, but out of bounds that time. And the Alouettes turn it over now. Winnipeg will take over deep in their own zone and be very thankful to do so. They don't give up any points off that previous turnover. Still down 3.
A narrow miss here for the Montreal Alouettes. They got the look they wanted, just kind of ran out of space down that sideline. DeMario Houston providing tight coverage on Eugene Lewis. Lewis, so great on the jump ball situation, makes the contested catch, but unable to do so inbounds with Houston right on his hip.
And so Winnipeg takes over. No worse for wear, but starting deep. Handing off 2. And a good carry on 1st down there by Brady Oliveira. Gives them some space right away on that carry and a 1st down, Winnipeg.
Yeah, nice downhill run here for Oliveira, lined up to the left of his quarterback, Zach Collaros. Solid job there from the Winnipeg offensive line. Pat Neufeld right at the point of attack. And you saw Jeff Gray, the backside guard, appear in the picture, getting up the field and into 2nd level to help out.
Gain of 14, Oliveira throwing now, quickly getting rid of it. And it is caught at midfield by Oliveira again. First the big carry, then running downfield. The coverage was there, and a good play. Brady Oliveira for 35 more yards.
Yeah, mixing it up. Collaros knows blitz is coming, man coverage. Middle's open. Oliveira going deep.
Throwing again, this time to Wolotarski, who catches that one inside the Alouette 50.
They're going back to the previous play. Oliveira straight down the hash mark. And he knows the ball could be coming early. In a blitz situation, Collaros hangs in as long as he can. Perfect timing, perfect placement on that throw. The Bombers make their way into Montreal territory.
Second and 2 after that 35-yard picking. keeping it on the ground. 3 straight plays to Oliveira and a first down.
Well, Brady Oliveira maybe earning a little bit bigger workload with his performance last week in Calgary. 15 carries, 110 yards for him, averaging over 7 yards a pop on the day. Oliveira's best game of the season thus far, matching his season high with 15 carries. First run of over 20 yards as well last week.
Back along the ground heading into that play, and a shorter gain. Oliveira, his 4th straight touch in this one. They had 13 yards net in the first quarter, so about 62 yards now. 61 heading into that play. We call it 63 overall on this drive alone here in the second quarter.
And Brady Oliveira providing 57 of those yards on his 6 touches.
The Alouettes have been the better team, but they only lead by 3. You leave the door open for an 8-0 team. Could come back to bite you here. 9 minutes till halftime. Winnipeg on the move. Deep ball, Collaros! Oh, knocked away, but a flag is out. Rodney Randall on Rasheed Bailey, and it looks like Randall's getting flagged for PI.
We'll take a look back at this one.
Defensive pass interference. Montreal number 32. Ball will be placed to the spot of the foul. First down, Winnipeg.
Randall initially in good position, but just a little tug there as he knows the ball's on his way. Trying to sort of slingshot himself back to the receiver. Randall gets caught. There you see the tug on the jersey with the right arm.
So a 33-yard penalty against the Alouettes and Rodney Randall. And it's a 1st and goal for Zach Collaros and Winnipeg. Yet to score in this game. A great opportunity to find the end zone now. From the Montreal 9. The fake off to Dembski. Barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Darius Pickett is there.
Yeah, and Montreal had this one very well defended. You can see almost a hesitation from Collaros. This is going to be off play action fake to Oliveira. Dembski coming right to left on your screen. Collaros recognizes that you've got Dequoy, the free safety, and Pickett, the nickel linebacker, in hot pursuit. That there's not going to be much there for Nick Dembski in terms of being able to turn that one upfield. You see Alouettes defensive coordinator Noel Thorpe made his return to the team when Danny Machocha took over as head coach.
This is the 8th play of the drive, a 2nd and goal at the Alouette 9. Touchdown Winnipeg! The rookie, Dalton Schoen, does it again. His 7th receiving touchdown, leading the way in the CFL. And Winnipeg suddenly has the lead.
Yeah, 5 touchdown catches for Dalton Schoen in the month of July, and he's starting August right where he left off. The quick hitter there. I'm not sure we can call him a rookie anymore.
Certainly not playing like one. You heard our panel talking about him, how remarkable, and Dave Naylor's story, how he basically was invited to walk on at Kansas State. Made his impression. Great collegiate career and great start to his CFL career too. Collaros to Schoen. We're getting used to hearing that. Blue Bombers now leading the Alouettes 7-3. Dalton Schoen, another touchdown to give Winnipeg the lead, and here's how it happened.
Yeah, just a quick hitter. It's going to get inside position on his defender. Quick slant right off the line. Pretty tough to defend with no help inside there. The key to the celebration, number 51, Jermarcus Hardrick. The big fella, 320 pounds, coming over the top.
Yeah, I know. It would have hit, bro. Watch it. I mean, I know he didn't like how that felt, though.
A little bit tighter, come across a little bit.
I need to get on his other knee.
Got the score, but still reviewing what can be done better. Certainly better for Winnipeg now, up by 4. Warren Newman on the kickoff return. And that's a well-coordinated celebration. Yoshi Hardrick. Yeah, he's done that before. The big man, executed to perfection. Montreal, it is a hot night, trust me. Hot and muggy, and fans, well, they were enjoying it more a little while ago when the Alouettes, a couple of big defensive plays, had the lead, but now Winnipeg does. Montreal football outside the 30. Trevor Harris completes it to Eugene Lewis, and he muscles his way over for a first down for Montreal. Lewis in his second catch of the night.
Well, Lewis, such an important part of this Montreal offense. He was targeted 15 times last week as the Alouettes attempted 42 passes in that ball game.
Had some outstanding catches in that game, too. Little play fake, knocked away, close to being picked off, too. It's Theodric Hansen, German player from the Potsdam Royals. The biggest success story, you'd have to think, from a non-kicker among the global players, and made a big play here on Trevor Harris.
Yeah, Hansen clean off the edge. Unblocked on the play. Nice reaction there to sort of redirect when he realizes he's not going to get there to make a tackle. Reads Harris's eyes and body language to anticipate where the ball is going. Special teams stalwart getting in on that D-line rotation.
In his third season with Winnipeg. And off now to Tyson Philpott, and coming in there was Donald Rutledge, the Sam linebacker, and lost yardage for the Alouettes.
Yeah, Rutledge will appear from the right side of your screen. Danny Machocha, Alouettes head coach, finds himself looking for a little spark for his team here. They've created some turnovers in the first half of this ball game, but as you mentioned, Rod, only 3 points to show for it thus far.
That's hurting now as they have to punt it away. Momentum clearly swinging to the Blue Bombers' side. Janarian Grant inside the 20. After a punt of 53 yards, and they finally do have him taken down just shy of the 25. Last week in Calgary, second meeting in 3 weeks. Bombers, Stampeders, great game. Back and forth they went, and this guy, Dalton Schoen, was a big part of it. Ended up with 2 catches in that one and 80 yards receiving. 2 touchdown grabs. Let's go back to John Liu.
Yeah, thank you, Rod. You can make that 3 touchdown balls that Dalton Schoen has held on to as mementos. His first CFL TD, and then the second scores of both of his 2 TD games. And that latter feat, Schoen recognizes as infrequent, and that's why he's held on to those mementos. And he's done it twice already in his young CFL career after doing it, as he recalls, only once in his career at Kansas State. And speaking of his alma mater, following that second touchdown, we heard Schoen shouting out a buddy of his whose stag he missed, and turns out that it was down in Miami Beach, and his friend's name is his friend's name is Charlie Kofer, who was his roommate in college, and although Schoen missed the stag, he hopes that he can make the wedding later in this month in Dallas, guys.
Yeah, he was missing Charlie there, John. Thank you. And Dalton Schoen had good reason to not make the stag party. And remember the apology he made after a big night in Calgary with those 2 touchdowns. And Collaros on a 2nd and 5 from the Winnipeg 30. And that one just a little bit too far for the intended receiver there, Rasheed Bailey. But yeah, to finish on Dalton Schoen, it's going to need a I don't know, a trophy case or just bigger shelf, I guess, for all those footballs that he's been saving.
Yeah, he'll be renting a truck to haul them all the mementos back with him at the end of the season. We've talked this season, as we see Rasheed Bailey, about all the change there's been to the roster, particularly on the offensive side for these two-time defending Grey Cup champions, the likes of Andrew Harris, Kenny Lawler, Darvin Adams, key offensive pieces moving on. But when you've got guys like Dalton Schoen, Greg Ellickson stepping in to fill the void, the transition is relatively seamless.
After a punt to 53 yards, Warren Newman, his first CFL action, getting that return up to the 35. Kate Burness, Dave Naylor, Davis Sanchez, and Milt Stiegel. I promise we will save you some poutine. I know that's a matter of concern, but you've got thoughts on this game. All four of you coming up. Halftime, getting closer now. Think Milt's ever touched poutine in his life?
Only to slap it out of his son's hands.
Poutine in a helmet. Complete by Harris. The Hergy Mayala up near the 40 on that first down play. Here's a social media influencer coming up with this poutine idea. Nico Atsadis. He ate 50 poutines in 7 days. He gained 8 pounds. He ate 50 of those things in 7 days. Any comment on that?
Well, now obviously I would prefer a helmet full of prime rib myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got appreciation, respect, Nico.
It's a lot of helmets. A lot of helmets, Nico. And at it again, too. The latest treat, poutine in a helmet, you can get here at McGill. 3-minute warning, 7-3 Winnipeg.
Coming up at the half, Milt Stiegel's prepared a workout routine for every person who decided to eat 2.5 pounds of poutine.
Yes, Rod and Dwayne, you're next.
Come on,
you're
Rodski.
next. No
Let's
poutine
go.
without working out.
He means it too. You know, you might think he's joking. He's not joking.
Well,
I got to stay away from him for a while. So.
You know, I do want Milt to know we are not partaking here as on a 30-degree night with about 80% humidity. Somehow the hot potatoes and gravy
not going over as well. Well,
yeah,
it does. It looks very nice, but it's staying warm in this weather here in Montreal. Winnipeg ball. 3 minutes to go. Punt to 44. 2.5 on the clock, actually 2:26, but still lots of time for Zach Collaros. And that Bomber offense, last possession, drove the field, aided a lot by a long pass interference call, but ended up with a touchdown to Dalton Schoen, and they have the lead.
Well, I think the story for the Bombers in this remarkable 8-0 start. First team to go 8-0 out of the gate since the 2005 BC Lions. You know, has been finding ways to win, right? It hasn't always been an easy or smooth road for them thus far, but mark of a champion is that they've been able to find ways to get it done when they need to get it done.
Consider Collaros, 22 of 30 last week. He was 7 for 16, only 7 completions before that in Edmonton, and they won. They find ways to win, and at a pace now that has not been seen in a long time. You alluded to it. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers start at 8-0. Most impressive start since 2005. BC started at 11-0. The Bombers, well, the last time they did this was going back to 1960. Back when that was in their heyday. They won 4 Grey Cups in 5 years.
I think that was Milt's rookie year, wasn't it?
We'll have to ask him. But they had a 10-0 start. And it's the standard bearer, the 1948 Calgary Stampeders, who went 12-0, a 12-game season, and won the Grey Cup over Ottawa back in 1948. 8-0 start, looking to go to 9-0. And right now they lead. It's back in the hands of Dalton Schoen as halftime gets closer.
And Zach Collaros with Pressure coming in his face. Watch, he's able to get this ball away and sort of protect himself from the oncoming rush of Chris Aki. Finding Schoen for a Bomber first down. Approaching midfield.
Chris Aki, who missed 5 games with an ankle injury. Back tonight. In the Winnipeg 48, 1:36 on the clock. Collaros dances away from Usher. Pass time, pump fake, downfield, and looking there for Schoen. And they discuss it. It is a complete pass, and the crowd doesn't like it, but another one in the hands of 83.
Yeah, I think Dalton Schoen already here early in his rookie season. He's kind of earned the benefit of the doubt. Squeeze with the left foot down in bounds before his momentum carries him out. Interesting to note once again, Rod, Zach Collaros under pressure from that Montreal front.
Has lots of time. Looks deep, intercepted, Najee Murray. Third turnover committed by the Bombers. And Murray with a good return, which at the very least could snuff out any chance of Winnipeg adding more points. I wonder if Steubenville, Ohio is watching.
And Najee Murray watching his campaign for mayor of Steubenville. He's got a sack and an interception off his old friend Zach Collaros here in the first half. Zach on the move, looking deep on this one. Overthrows Drew Wolodarski. Murray falling off of his man to help out over top. Comes up with the interception.
And his first pick of 2022. 1:11 on the clock till halftime. Flag is out as Jackson Jeffcoat moves in and takes Trevor Harris down.
Take a look back.
Winnipeg, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Wolodarski down the hash mark is the intended receiver. Bit of an overthrow there. Murray tracks it down as you see frustration.
Maybe thinking, is that the guy that used to be the water boy in high school?
I got picked off by the water boy.
What's he doing to me tonight? The sack, the pick. Harris, deeper ball, down the right, nearly picked off by Winston Rose. It was all over Eugene Lewis there. Incomplete, second down.
Yeah, Rose well positioned on that one. And the Canadian Football League interception leaders. A couple years ago. Pursued some NFL opportunities at the start of last season, but rejoined the Bombers late for their cup run.
1 minute even until halftime. 2nd and 5. Alouette 36. Harris dishes it off to Antwi as he was being taken down. It's good for a couple more yards for Montreal, but not enough for a first down.
Trevor Harris with the improv here. Finds his running back as he's being taken down. Always a risky play.
Especially in your own zone late in the half when if they turned it over. Bombers would be just in field goal range, but as it stands now, they get the opportunity to punch it away with the clock ticking down. Montreal started strong. A couple of turnovers, one of which led to a field goal. Winnipeg came back in the second quarter in the hands of Janarian Grant. Brian Haralamana among those, and Alex Gagne to take him down shy of the Winnipeg 40 with 23 seconds to go.
Zach Collaros coming off a game in which he had 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He's been picked off a couple of times by the Owls safety here. Also a fumble in the first half recovered by Nick Usher. So Montreal defensive line, in the absence of one of their top pass rushers, Avery Ellis, certainly seems to be doing their part through the opening 30 minutes.
On the ground on first down. And a good first half for Brady Oliveira. Gets his 7th carry. That longest gain was a 35-yard reception in this second quarter. Pickup of 7 there, and second down. Looking like this could be the last play of the first half. Flags out with the snap of the ball. Looking like procedure against
Winnipeg, number 68. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
On the left guard, Jeff Gray.
Backing this one up, 2 seconds left on the clock. Zach's still looking at that wristband, which makes you suspect he's not just thinking take a knee, but...
You think he'd consider chucking one down the field here?
2 seconds left.
On the ground. On the ground and down, Oliveira, and the first half is over. And for the Alouettes, mixed feelings, I would think. Earlier on, thinking they should have had a greater lead, but late, the interception at least prevents any more by Winnipeg. They're down by 4 as we head back to the studio. Kate Burness in the pen.
And alongside David Sanchez, Dave Naylor, Mel Stiegel, and I don't know how anyone finds that annoying at home. Super easy to concentrate. Stop it now! Stop with the horns. We've had enough in the first half.
Can be one question here real
Talk
fast?
to me.
Why before the half they're at almost midfield? You have Zach Collaros, your quarterback, takes care of the ball. Why didn't he take a shot
downfield?
try to get a field goal range?
Why do people have the over in the first half?
Not even.
I don't know what's going on around here.
That's why you're mad, huh?
It's actually Dave.
That's why you're mad.
Game too well. Dave, let's go to you for a moment. It really was a dream start for the Montreal Alouettes. I mean, you got to admit, with the start, they held Winnipeg scoreless for the first time in the first quarter since week number 2, but just really couldn't capitalize on anything after that.
No, and the Bombers are a fast-starting team. That's one of the things they do is they beat teams in the first quarter. The other thing they don't do much of is turning the ball over. This is just the 6th interception of the season for Montreal and sets for Winnipeg, sets Montreal up deep in field position. They're only able to convert that into a field goal. Then Zach fumbles under pressure. That's their 3rd lost fumble of the season. So overall, Montreal has Winnipeg looking like, well, I don't know, their 2nd road game in 6 days after 9 weeks without a bye.
Yep.
Which is kind of what Montreal was hoping they'd
That's what they were hoping, a fatigued team.
Man, you saw it early. The reality, harsh reality of cover guys, if you don't trust your quickness in your matchup, you're going to have to guess on some routes. DeMario Houston, this guy, and it's not just DeMario. There's a lot of guys in the league that have this ability, but we highlight him today. You look at Gino here. Gino sells the slant. DeMario has to match him in and out of that transition. But you realize how hard it is? He's the one who has to react, but he has to flip his hits. Gino's going forward. He sells the slant. DeMario has to match his feet and then flip his hits, and then flip his hips. And in 5 steps, he gets back in with Gino Lewis. And Gino Lewis is quick as anything. So you're talking about a guy who's has to respect the slant because, as you know, it's the easiest throw. Yep. He's got to jump that slant and beat Gino there, but then he has to flip his hits. flip his hips and get back to the fade with him. To be able to do that is incredible. And like I said, there's a lot of guys in that secondary that can do that.
Right.
But just highlighted him today.
And I know a lot of people are going to question, why did Montreal go for that? You know, they had an opportunity to get a field goal and put some more points on the board. But you're 2-5. You're playing against an 8-0 back-to-back Grey Cup champions. You got to get every opportunity you can to score. Well, what happens after that misplay? The Winnipeg Blue Bombers come back and take advantage of it. They move the ball down the field. We saw Brady Oliveira with a great catch. We see the pass, the clear pass interference right here. And then once again, Dalton Schoen, there's that guy making a touchdown catch. This is what championship teams do. They're only up 7-3, but they're up. They're finding ways. It's not always going to be the way everyone wants it to be, but they're going to always find ways. So it's good for the Montreal Alouettes, only down 7-3, but they have to come out early in this second half and put some points on the board.
I'm never letting, if I'm playing defense against Dalton Schoen, I'm never letting him get inside of me.
Not a chance.
On the goal line, why are they doing that?
All right, let's take a recipe update here and see how we did in our pregame. Score in the first quarter, 3-0 Montreal. 2 deep balls already, so take chances. We like that. Mashed potatoes, Milt. You were on that one. A couple of sacks.
Mashed potatoes.
Knockdowns, 2, and blueberry turnovers. That's 3. A delicious recipe for success. We'll see if the Alouettes can do a little more in the second half.
Thursday night football in Montreal. Wesley Sutton. The start the Alouettes need. And he's hit and taken down. The Alouettes defense strikes again. They get to Caleros and they get the ball. And it is caught at midfield by Oliveira again. Touchdown Winnipeg. The rookie, Dalton Schoen, does it again.
And now, a short meditation for this crypto winter. I am calm like a mountain lake. I use Coinbase, the largest publicly traded crypto exchange. The exchange that's based in the US and has a world-class security team and protects my funds 24/7 and has over 10 years of experience weathering crypto cycles like this one. Coinbase, the most trusted crypto exchange.
How dare you?
How dare you?
No wonder no one wants to come home for Easter to their Filipino parents.
Make sure you're not late for dinner.
I am a black belt.
Oh my God.
Filipino families fight a lot, but we love a lot too.
We're sending gifts to the Philippines. I'm sending this blue hairdryer. If it makes your hair look like that, I wouldn't send it.
We should put them both in the box and ship it.
Easter Sunday in theaters now. Rated PG-13.
Welcome to Subway's biggest refresh yet. They're drafting 12 new subs for their all-new Subway Series menu. This is exciting, Tony.
Oh, you've never seen stats like this before, Chuck. The new Monster has juicy steak and crispy bacon.
Dang, but what about the new Boss? Meatballs covered in marinara, coupled with fresh mozzarella. It looks so good. It makes me hangry.
Did you say hangry?
And pepperoni, too.
Pepperoni? Now I'm hangry.
The new Subway Series. What's your pick?
Made your choice?
Get 5G coverage that goes yard. T-Mobile has more 5G bars in more places than anyone. Another reason T-Mobile is the leader in 5G.
It took a while to get up here. We started out around 1959. Then we took a hard left in East Africa. A right at Baja. A 180 in the empty quarter.
All right, we have Friday Night Football coming up. It is the Calgary Stampeders in the nation's capital to take on the Ottawa Redblacks, coming off their first win of the season. Pre-game begins 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. With more on Caleb Evans, here's Matt Dunnigan.
What a catch! Wow!
For a touchdown, are you kidding me?
The most intriguing player to me in Week 9 is Redblacks quarterback Caleb Evans, who in his 11th career start finally had a breakout performance in last week's win over the Argos. Evans completed 20 of 22 passes in the second half of that game, finishing with an 83% completion rate, which caught everyone by surprise because until that point, Evans had struggled when given the opportunity. So was the win over the Argos just a flash in the pan or a sign of things to come? I think it could be the latter, and here's why. Head coach Paul LaPolice is starting to show more confidence in Evans, and you can see it in the play calling. Against Toronto, Lapo had Evans throwing it a lot on first down. He was aggressive, and it paid off. They didn't find themselves in second and long situations, and it kept Toronto's defense off guard. Evans earned the trust of his coach by making smart reads. Here, he reads blitz and gets the ball out of his hands quickly. It doesn't hurt to have a weapon like Jalen Ackland, who's leading the league in receiving yards and can turn an 8-yard crossing route into a 46-yard gain. Boom, just like that. I see Evans trending in the right direction. And when you combine that with Ottawa's playmakers, not just Ackland, but Nate Bahar, who I see is really turning into a second down conversion expert. On top of that stout defense, there's reason to believe in Ottawa. Remember, the Stamps are coming off back-to-back demoralizing losses against those big, bad Blue Bombers, a team Ottawa showed they could hang with earlier in the season. I like the Red Blacks to keep this one close and cover the spread on Friday Night Football.
Well, the rookie sensation, Dalton Schoen, with his 7th TD of the season. He's going to be eating poutine after. No, I'm just kidding. He's with John Liu coming up next.
Halftime in Montreal, and the unbeaten Winnipeg Blue Bombers are leading, but the Alouettes are hanging in thanks to their defense. Here's Najee Murray now with John Liu.
Najee holding the offense of the defending champs to 7 points at the half. What did you like about your defense in that first half that you would like to continue in the second?
You know, we believed in what Coach Stewart says. We play fast, we play physical, and so far we came out in the first half and we held up our end.
For you, getting a sack and an interception against your fellow Steubenville High alumnus, Zach Collaros. I guess depending on the outcome, will there be bragging rights attached to what you accomplished in the first half?
I'll wait till the end of the game. You know, we got a whole second half we got to finish up with, you know. We just got to finish, you know. Finish.
Thanks for this, Najee.
Thank you.
That interception coming late in the first half. It was Winnipeg's first possession that it was another interception. Wesley Sutton took it for Danny Machoch's Alouettes. They get a field goal off that. Their only point so far. Warren Newman is back to receive the second half kickoff now. Winnipeg with a 4-point lead, looking to hit the halfway point of their season at 9-0. Can do it with a victory tonight. And what's been a remarkable run so far for the two-time defending champions on the reverse, on the return. And a big return it is for Rodney Randall. He took the ball from Newman, and he gets it up across the 40 for Trevor Harris and the Alouettes.
Yeah, a little reverse here as Newman starts off to his right, flip to Randall, coming back left as they try to catch the coverage team as they converge towards the right side of the field.
See Harris's numbers. Eugene Lewis, 2 catches for 17 yards in that first half. Looking his way now. Lewis has it in its hands, but good coverage there by Winston Rose on that first down play.
Yeah, Rose closing quickly as that ball is in the air on its way out towards the wide side of the field. To limit that to a short gain of about 4.
Lewis had 8 catches, 154 yards last week in Hamilton. 2nd and 6. Harris over the middle. That one's complete. And it's across midfield in the hands of Eugene Lewis, and a first down, Montreal.
All Gino all the time here for Montreal to start off this second half. A strategy that seems to be working just fine for them out of the gate. Trevor Harris finds his favorite receiver just sitting it down over the middle.
One of the leading receivers in the CFL this year, 3rd in the league in 2021. And a 1st and 10 at midfield for Montreal to start the second half. And guess who? Lewis again. Gets it down inside the Winnipeg 45. Another first down.
Well, we had Eugene Lewis right, Eugene Lewis over the middle. So, of course, Eugene Lewis on the left side was the logical next call as Harris completes his 3rd consecutive pass to number 87. Lewis isolated into the boundary here. Trips to the field.
And handing off to Jeshurun Antwi. Cuts it back. And gets it close to the Winnipeg 40.
Antwi sort of attacked this one once he picked his hole, moving the pile a little bit to pick up a few yards on that play.
Call it 3 and a 2nd and 7 for Antwi with 7 carries and 25 yards in this game. From the Winnipeg 41. Quickly to the left for Lewis again, but not that time. Falls incomplete, and it's 3rd down to end that first possession by the Alouettes.
Winston Rose supplying the tight coverage. Watch the right arm here, wrapping up the arms of Lewis. He maybe had a chance to catch that one cleanly, but once there was the bobble, Rose wasn't going to give him a second chance.
So we'll have a field goal try to start things off in the second half for Montreal. Be about a 49-yard try for David Cote, 3 for 4 last week. His longest is 49 on the season and his career, with Zima holding it. And David Cote splits those uprights. So just like the first half, the Alouettes open things up with a field goal, this in the second half, and now we have a 1-point game. The Bombers lead still, but it's down to 1.
Back in the opening 30 minutes of this ball game, the Montreal Alouettes defensive front did a very effective job of getting after Winnipeg quarterback Zach Collaros. That pressure, as you see the fumble forced there, recovered by Nick Usher. Got to believe that pressure played a little bit of a role in 2 interceptions thrown by the veteran Bomber quarterback as well.
A lot more heat on a hot night provided by that Alouette defense in this one. 1st and 10 from the 40. And a big run to start off this drive. Janarian Grant takes it and cuts it up and gets it across midfield. Gain of 17 for Winnipeg.
Use the speed of Janarian Grant, their primary kick returner here in the Winnipeg offense, to get him around the corner on that one.
First down, that's complete. Drew Wolodarski, who gets his 3rd catch of the night.
Yeah, you just heard all the horns.
A lot of fans don't like them. I mean, fans watching on TV.
Yeah, the Alouettes apparently like the horn.
They're getting a lot of heat about the horn. Wesley Sutton, the injured Alouette, had the interception early in this game that led to their first field goal. That crowd likes to make their noise, especially when the Bombers have the football, of course. Enduring a very muggy night here in Montreal.
A good crowd here nonetheless in Montreal for this Thursday nighter. Big matchup for the Owls as they look to get back in the win column.
The home of the Alouettes since a playoff game back in 1997. And the crowd there was so good in what was really an impromptu switch they were forced to because of a U2 concert at Olympic Stadium. And they liked it so much they stayed and they refurbished, and the rest is history. The Alouettes, of course, used to play the previous version of them back in Olympic Stadium for years. And then coming back, it's been mostly here. But the 6-game stretch for Montreal And this their third home date, having beaten Saskatchewan back in week 3 and 3 weeks ago, having a 19-point lead over the Edmonton Elks and winding up losing it by a point. Danny Machocha, game 4 for him as a head coach of the Montreal Alouettes.
With Sutton out, Darius Williams, by the way, checks in to the Alouette secondary.
1st and 10 at the Montreal 41. Finding a hole is Brady Oliveira. And more. Oliveira takes it down to the Montreal 25.
Straight downhill here for the University of North Dakota product. Brady Oliveira. Just get it north-south, lower your shoulders. Nothing fancy, but very effective.
With 4 receivers to the left, looking there to the end zone for Schoen. And just a bit behind, and Murray on the coverage, falling incomplete, 2nd down.
A little chat there between Schoen and Murray. Take a look at the tail end of this one. With Murray closing, Schoen is trying to get back, turn to the inside, but unable to fully rotate. Murray just holding his position to defend that one.
One-point lead. A chance for more points here from the Montreal 26 and a 2nd down. And that is in the hands of Schoen. And that is down around the 17, just enough for a 1st down, but a 10-yard gain right on the button for Dalton Schoen.
Yeah, Schoen gets the hands underneath that one to secure it before it gets to the turf. Just a terrific find for the Bombers. I mean, Mike O'Shea talked to us about Dalton Schoen week 1 of this season, coming out of training camp, and he asked him about some of the new faces that stood out, and he talked about Schoen as a guy who sort of mature beyond his years, very professional approach as a first-year player.
Pressure's coming, and down goes Collaros. A team that didn't have a sack last week has had a lot of heat tonight, but a late flag does come out.
After a big defensive play, what I suspect is an unnecessary roughness
Major
call.
foul. Major foul, player misconduct. Montreal number 26. Half the distance to goal. Automatic 1st down.
The Will linebacker, Tyrese Beverette, as the boos rain down here at Molson Stadium. And so that'll go half the distance. A 1st and goal now for Winnipeg. A chance to open things up again on that call against Beverette.
Beverette was involved with Winnipeg right tackle Jamarcus Hardrick there. I think it was just a matter of him not knowing that the play was over when he took a shot.
So actually 1st and 10 from the 12 now for Winnipeg as that is thrown away. Rasheed Bailey, the closest receiver.
Keep an eye here on the 2 players. That's Beverette and Hardrick kind of wrestling as the play is going on. Beverette goes back and takes a shot. But it's funny, as you watch the 2 of them, you know, kind of a butt slap for each other at the end of the play. Like, I think it was honestly kind of a case of not realizing that the play was over, as they were tied up and still playing, but the league trying to crack down on such things. So
2nd down. More heat's coming as Collaros throws it away. And a field goal situation is coming up for Winnipeg. Armando Sewell, the veteran.
This Montreal defensive line, these guys have done their part here tonight as Zach Collaros comes up hobbling after that one. Mondo, right corn top right of your screen there. Just straight bull rush up the middle. Working against the center, Chris Kolinkowski.
Collaros has been hurried 7 times, hit twice, sacked 3 times. Heading off now as Mark Leggio comes on for the field goal try to reestablish a 4-point lead. Leggio 2 for 2 last week in Calgary, 18 for 20 overall. And a flag comes out with that kick, which is good.
Pyramiding, Montreal number 44. That penalty will be half the distance. It'll be first down, Winnipeg.
And this, in the meantime, is Zach Collaros. You saw him limping off and heading to the Bomber dressing room with Winnipeg's offense now back out. Fresh life after that penalty by Moore.
Yeah, and the pyramiding call on a kicking play is basically about players kind of getting up on other players' backs, you know, trying to use them for leverage. As you'll see Mike Moore, number 44, just inside the corner of the goalpost there. You see him kind of using the Bomber players to spring himself up on top, using them for leverage.
He had gone off and quickly coming back. Drew Brown had come out to run the play, but they do switch up quarterbacks again. Collaros, to the relief of the Bombers and fans, I'm sure, is okay and back out now with a 1st and goal at the Montreal 6. So a quick trip to the room and right back out again. And handing off now to Oliveira. And he is met by the middle linebacker, Micah Awe. 2nd and goal.
Montreal defense swarming to the ball. On this one, keep an eye. I mentioned Micah Awe from his linebacker spot. Flowing right into the hole. He and Nick Usher and Armando Sewell all getting a piece of the Bomber ball carrier. You see Zach Collaros kind of doubled over in the background of that shot.
Second and goal as the Bombers try to make Montreal pay for that penalty. Getting away from the pressure into the end zone and a touchdown. Winnipeg, Rasheed Bailey. And a costly penalty for the Alouettes because Winnipeg's increased its lead with a touchdown.
Well, we've seen this so many times over the last couple of years. It's just the ability to maneuver the pocket of Zach Collaros. As pressure comes, late block, he just dodges it, slides into a new space, eyes downfield. Receivers working to get open for him. He finds Rasheed Bailey for Winnipeg Major.
11 plays, 70 yards in just over 5 minutes. A drive extended when they had kicked a field goal. Leggio had it. Pyramiding called against the Alouettes. So instead of adding 3, Winnipeg adds 7. Collaros had gone off, but suddenly came back and threw a touchdown pass to Bailey. Bombers up 14-6. Last week, Rasheed Bailey in Calgary was targeted 5 times, had 5 catches. Tonight, just 1 catch, but it's good for a touchdown, his 2nd of the season.
Yeah, and once again, you sort of see the skill in maneuvering the pocket of Zach Collaros. Bailey working into an open space to help out his quarterback once he's on the move. A little something to say after the major.
Little something to say, and he was able to dish off a souvenir as well. His family up here from Philadelphia to watch Rasheed Bailey, and he got the touchdown that's increased the Winnipeg lead. Tyson Philpott on the kick return for Montreal. Philpott stayed in bounds. Legio couldn't get him. Great return, Tyson Philpott. Oh, the Alouettes needed that. Down 8 points now. But in Winnipeg territory when we come back.
There you see the Montreal Alouettes. Second first-round pick here in the 2022 CFL draft, Tyson Philpott. We've seen him make an impact as a receiver in here on special teams in the absence of Chandler Worthy. Shows his burst. Set the Alouettes up with great field position.
A 1st and 10 at the Winnipeg 37. They're down 8. Jeff Renanqui, left side, finally taken down by Jackson Jeffcoat, but not until he picks up 9 yards, gets it inside the Winnipeg 30.
All smiles for Wayne Harris at the University of Calgary, watching Philpott and Jeff Renanqui supply the offense and field position here. A couple of former Dinos combining now with the Montreal Alouettes.
Dominic Davis, the backup quarterback for Montreal, who leads the CFL in touchdowns with 7. Of course, a little far away from that now, but that's usually his specialty, short yardage. They fake that, he throws it, and he completes it to Reggie White. Catching the Bombers' defense off guard and getting a first down for Montreal through the air.
That is a league in which creativity will be rewarded, and that's what the Alouettes opt for here on 2nd and short. A little bit of a freebie to take a bit of a gamble. Rolling Davis out of there and finding Reggie White.
Getting closer to answering right back to the Winnipeg 15. The Alouettes yet to score a touchdown in this game. A couple of Cote field goals. Trevor Harris back in. Quickly off, and it is caught after being bobbled. Philpott. 3-2-1. Touchdown, Alouettes. Tyson Philpott with his 2nd career CFL touchdown. He finished the drive, and he started the drive with that big kickoff return.
Well, you see Philpott starting in the backfield to the left of Trevor Harris. Just kind of a quick screen. You saw on the return, the kickoff return that launched this drive, what Philpott can do with the ball in his hands and a little bit of space. He demonstrates more of the same in scoring his 2nd career Canadian Football League touchdown.
Come on now. Let's go.
Rookie Tyson Philpott. That was a Philpott drive. 60-yard kickoff return, and then that touchdown on the catch and run, and they go for 2 to tie the game. Harris with time, looking to the right, and a flag comes out. He was looking for Reggie White. Nick Taylor getting flagged for interference.
Defensive pass interference, Winnipeg number 9. Ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. We'll redo the 2-point convert.
And you can see a little bit of contact there as White tried to fight his way upfield. Taylor in coverage. So the Alouettes get a reprieve here in their 2-point attempt.
So they move it up closer and go for 2 again. Dominic Davis in, keeping it himself, getting through. Tie game. Tyson Philpott starts the drive with a big return. Ends the drive with that catch, taking it into the end zone. 14-14.
see Tyson Philpott, man who produced the most recent Alouettes touchdown, getting ready to go again on special teams. But here it's just setting up a screen. You'll see they get the other receivers out in front. There's Reggie White, walling defenders to the inside. Jake Winnipeg occupies Nick Taylor. Tyson Philpott beats one tackler to make his way into the end zone. Philpott, part of the 2019 Vanier Cup Championship team at the University of Calgary, a game in which Danny Machocha's Montreal Alouettes were on the losing end.
And look who makes the special teams tackle.
Yeah, let the show continue for Tyson Philpott.
Gets the touchdown, and now part of Montreal's kick coverage. Coming down on Janarian Grant.
He's on a roll.
He's doing it all right now.
I don't know if Dad made many tackles. Father Corey is former star running back in the CFL, BC and Winnipeg.
Yeah, played for the Bombers for a while later in his career. Great player in his own right, Corey Philpott was. And two sons in the CFL, the twins, Tyson and then Jalen in Calgary. And here at a first down, Bailey. And taking it outside and getting another first down for the Bombers just across their 45.
And now up to the Bombers to take this crowd back out of the game. Quell the momentum that the Alouettes have grabbed here. And of course try to get themselves back in the lead in this football game.
A lot of lead changes in that Winnipeg-Calgary game last week at McMahon. Back and forth they went. An excellent game. Fun to watch. Ultimately, Collaros to Schoen to decide it for Winnipeg to improve to 8-0. And they're in a battle here now, too, after the Alouettes answered back on that first down carry, and not much doing for Winnipeg there. Brock Gowanlock, product of the University of Manitoba, and heading off.
Yeah, one of Brian Dobie's boys with the Bisons. Getting some reps at defensive end. Little more opportunity there for the rookie with the absence of Avery Ellis.
Second and 8. Late third quarter. And a 14-14 tie. Collaros completes that for another Winnipeg first down. That's Bailey again with Rodney Randall on it. Down near the Montreal 45.
And we've seen all night what I think is pretty good coverage from the Montreal secondary, but Zach Collaros having the confidence to zip that ball into some tight windows, and receivers like Rasheed Bailey there making plays for him.
His second catch of the night, the other, a 5-yard catch for a touchdown earlier in this half. Ball spotted at the Alouette 46. Handing off the sweep to Grant. Tries to get outside. He gets it inside the 45 for a few yards. Mike Jones in the corner, able to slow him down.
Yeah, this is a big play by Mike Jones. It looks like there might have been an opportunity for Grant to try and turn north-south a little bit earlier, but he tries to get around the corner, get to the sideline. Mike Jones comes up with a nice tackle in space.
So another second and 8 for Winnipeg. Former Blue Bomber Mike Jones won a Grey Cup in Winnipeg last year. Going up against his old team for the first time, and will again next week back in Winnipeg. Collaros deep for Nick Debsky in the hands of Marc-Antoine Ducroix. Ruling he's down, but it's Montreal football. And the third interception thrown in this game by Zach Collaros. The third interception of the season for Marc-Antoine Ducroix.
Well, you're not going to find a player in the league much more athletic than the Montreal free safety Marc-Antoine Ducroix, second-year man, product of the Université Montreal Carabin. This one hits Dembski, and Dequoy just stays with it. Kind of picks the ball off of Dembski's shoulder. There you see off the shoulder pad towards Dembski's hands, but by then Dequoy has a hand in there. He's able to wrestle it away from the Winnipeg receiver.
Great play by Dequoy. And Dembski was that close to picking up a touchdown taken away by the second-year man out of the Montreal Carabin. So from the 25, Alouettes. Play fake and a quick hitter over the 30 to Eugene Lewis.
Take a look at the tail end of that one again. Had Dembski been able to reel that one in cleanly, we'd be talking about a Winnipeg touchdown right now, but it's off his shoulder pad towards his hands. He still had a shot to catch it off the deflection, but Dequoy got a hand in between and managed to steal it away.
2nd and 3. Jeshrin Antwi, right side. First down, Montreal. Up across the 37.
Antwi, good, hard, physical runner. The cut from the same mold as William Stanback in that regard. Still possessing some breakaway speed. We've seen a couple long runs from him this season.
Last play, 3rd quarter. Pressure on Harris. Can't get it away. Jake Thomas taking him down. Zeros on the clock. And a big defensive play by Winnipeg there. Heading into the final 15. 3-quarter time. The Bombers took charge early in that quarter. Rasheed Bailey touchdown. But things changed. Tyson Philpott. Big kick return and a touchdown too with a 2-point convert. All tied heading into the 4th. Here's a look at the 3-quarter stats back in Montreal, and the most important one, all even at 14. And Dwayne, if the Alouettes are able to do what no one's been able to do this year so far, they'll have their defense to thank for it.
Yeah, and I can't say enough about the work of the defensive front for the Montreal Alouettes in this football game. Considered underdogs, obviously, coming into the game, but a lot of talk, and you heard the guys on our panel talk about it in the lead-in. They were going to have to find a way to get after Zach Collaros to give their team a chance, and I think Armando Sewell and all of his proteges, the young guys on that D-line, have done their part. Tyson Philpott certainly chipping in a little bit here as well, the rookie from University of Calgary.
Not just on offense, of course, on special teams, too. The big return. 2nd and 16 to start the 4th quarter. Harris from their 31. And it is caught by Lewis.
Yeah, feet were just out of bounds.
Feet were just out. And he's been able to work some miracles on the sideline. We've seen him catch some of those, get 1 foot down, but not that time.
Yeah, twisting, turning.
Close.
Just, yeah. He wasn't touched and pushed out, but just his momentum as he was backpedaling a little bit. Momentum as he jumped to catch that football carried him out of bounds.
So it's a 3rd and 16 now, as the Alouettes will punt it away in a tie game. They're going to challenge.
Montreal is challenging the ruling of a catch on the previous play. We'll review the play.
The only thing I wondered about it, Dwayne, was did the foot, there was 1 foot in bounds, but did it touch before the out of bounds foot touched? I didn't think so when I saw it, but I'm wondering if that's what he sees.
Yeah, and we'll take another look at this one because I saw the same as you. The ball's approaching, still in. He's got the ball in his hands.
Which touches first?
Yeah.
Is the one on the right, possibly. I mean, that's a close call.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to call it conclusive enough to overrule?
That's the thing.
What the ruling on the field was. See what we get here. Watch the right foot. There he's got the ball. I think the right foot's down first.
They might have a case, but enough, as you say, when the call was incomplete, out of bounds, is that enough to reverse it?
Then watching here, ball's coming.
It's that right foot. Does it touch before the left does?
I think the right is just touching down there. The left is still on its way.
So they may have a case here. And a big review.
Yeah, I mean, by a sliver.
Just a fraction.
Well, Montreal's offense makes their way back on the field here, so we think we know what the ruling's going to be. This one should be getting turned around. Danny Machocha in his first year back on the CFL sidelines. Looks like he's getting the hang of this challenge thing.
So here's the ruling.
After review, the ruling on the field is overturned. It was a completed pass on the 47-yard line. It'll be first down, Montreal on the 47.
Oh, what a big swing that creates. Never a surprise to see Eugene Lewis at the center of a momentum-changing play for the Alouettes.
To the 47 of Winnipeg. Eugene Lewis. Now up to 74 yards. Receiving for Montreal. Antwi finding his way through before he is taken down at about the 42, 43-yard line. Malik Clements in on the tackle for Winnipeg.
Antwi. Calgary native, played Father Lacombe High School. Get a quick break here.
On the second down. Harris to the left for Keon Julian Grant. And just falls incomplete. Third down.
Trying to take advantage of the athleticism of Grant on the outside here. He's just going straight down the rail. Rose maintains pretty good position. Grant unable to haul that one in. Pretty well thrown ball from Trevor Harris.
It was. He got his hands on it, but no, couldn't hang on. So a 3rd and 5 now. And Cote had a long field goal earlier of 49, matching his season high, matching his career high. And this, once again, is just shy of 50. Call it a 49-yarder again, put down by Zeman. This one, no, off the upright. And a dead ball. So they extended the drive after the challenge, but it is still a 14-14 tie. You may recall this from 7 years ago here in Montreal. Little baby meets Nick Lewis and for some reason doesn't like Nick. Starts crying. Nick trying to console him, but no. But this little later in the season and under different circumstances, that baby warming up to Nick Lewis. That was back in 2015, getting to meet the future Hall of Famer. And guess what? Charles-Antoine Huneau, there's that baby on the left, 7 years of age. Happy birthday today to Charles-Antoine. Yes, the famous baby. I remember Milt Stiegel throwing a flag on that as we summed up the week back in studio. And I said, you're throwing a flag on Nick? He goes, I'm throwing a flag on the baby. Everyone loves Nick. And excited football fan now, but that was a priceless moment back in 2015, and I'm sure Nick Lewis remembers it well. First and 10, Winnipeg at their 25 in a tie game, fourth quarter. And a good carry there for Brady Oliveira.
Well, Winnipeg finding themselves in somewhat familiar territory. Oddly enough, you see that 8-0 record, and it's easy to think that it's been a cakewalk, but these guys have played some close games, as we talked about earlier. A lot of their success has been about finding ways to win, getting it done when they need to get it done, often in the fourth quarter.
That's a great point you make. They are battle-tested in close games. Right from game one of the season against Ottawa, and that on second and short. Little keeper for the first down. Dakota Prukop, the third-string quarterback, in for the Bombers, and dealing with that situation to move the sticks in the first down. But you're right, against Ottawa, it came down to a field goal at the very end of the game by Mark Leggio to beat the Red Blacks. They have had close games. Last week, coming back late against the Calgary Stampeders in a back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, even the Edmonton game a couple weeks ago, it took them kind of, after struggling to move the ball consistently for much of that football game, they had some big plays, but you know, when they needed to move it and have extended drives and control the ball in the fourth quarter, that's what they did, but it was close to that point.
So it's a first and 10 from the 37. Collaros with time and completes it up near midfield to Drew Wolodarski. His fourth catch of the night, and a gain of 15 Bombers.
Yeah, Wolodarski out of the University of Minnesota. And nice protection there for Collaros to allow that one the necessary time to develop.
Both games against Calgary have been close. The Argos had a chance to tie it late. Winnipeg just hung on in Toronto back in July the 4th, but won. They have won every game, trying to make it 9-0. It's tied, and it's in the hands of Janarian Grant. And lots of yardage after the run. Grant down to the Montreal 35.
Well, the speed of Janarian Grant is an obvious thing, but the key to this play isn't so much his speed as his acceleration, because when it catches the ball, it looks like Janarian Grant is going to be dead in the water. He's got defenders closing on him, but within 2 steps, he's out of the reach of Najee Murray and turning this into a positive play.
So down to the Alouette 35. Bombers on the move. Dembski coming up to the line. Flag does come out. And what looks like it'll be a penalty against Winnipeg. Oliveira with the carry.
Holding Winnipeg, number 66. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
So Stanley Bryant, the left tackle, not Dembski. Bryant, the great offensive lineman for years in the CFL, gets flagged for the hold here.
Yeah, keep an eye on Stanley Bryant out there at left tackle. Dembski had motioned up on the right side of the line. Looked like he might have crossed the line a little early, but Bryant rather kind of overstepped in his attempt to reach block on Mike Moore at the end of the line.
First and 20. Montreal 45, Collaros with a man in his face. He gets it away. Oh, what a catch by Drew Wolodarski. Magnificent. And Winnipeg is in business.
When you watch this ball thrown by Zach Collaros, it looks almost as if he's throwing the ball away. Wolodarski, the one receiver out wide. On this one, it looks like Collaros is just kind of getting rid of the ball with a degree of desperation, but then you see the level of accuracy with which it's delivered and realize there's no desperation. He's just accelerating his delivery.
First and goal in the hands of Oliveira. Might have lost a yard. The Darius Pickett there. Armando Sewell as well.
Take a look back here again with Nick Usher right in his face. Zach Collaros puts it up. Drew Wolodarski goes and gets it. for a big Winnipeg game.
Beautifully placed ball and a brilliant catch by Wolotarski. The Bombers with a chance to retake the lead. The 8th play of the drive now with the ball at the Montreal 5. 2nd and goal, Winnipeg. Handing off, Oliveira pulls his way down closer. It'll be 3rd down, about the 1-yard line. And what a moment in this game coming up.
You think as Winnipeg puts themselves in position to potentially take the lead here. Can't help think of missed opportunities for Montreal in a close ball game against the league's top team.
Third and goal. They need a yard. Touchdown, Dakota Prukop. But a flag is out.
That penalty's declined. Touchdown.
And the Bombers have retaken the lead.
See a couple of Montreal hands over the yellow line, yellow goal line. So in offside territory is Prukop with the second effort. Reaches over that line to put that one in.
9 plays, 85 yards. And Prukop with his 2nd touchdown of the season. As Mark Leggio will attempt the point after and make it a 7-point Winnipeg lead, approaching the halfway mark of this 4th quarter. Mike Benson, the center. Prukop to put it down for Leggio. (21-14). The big play. Wolotarski, that catch to get them down to within this. Prukop, the touchdown, and a frustrated Alouette defensive coordinator, Noel Thorpe.
Thursday Night Football is brought to you by 7-Eleven, where you get fast 24/7 delivery on game day, including Slurpee drinks.
Winnipeg has the lead again, 4th quarter. Dakota Prukop, veteran, started his career in Toronto 3 seasons, was with the Edmonton Elks last year, his 1st year in Winnipeg, and his 2nd rushing touchdown. The quarterbacks talking things over in a 7-point lead now with just under 8 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Tyson Philpott, the last time he had a kick return in the 3rd quarter, he had a 60-yarder that started a touchdown drive that he finished on a 15-yard catch and run. In his hands again, across the 30, cutting back. And finally taken down there by the special teams tackle expert Mike Miller with a flag coming out. It's the 4th quarter. The Bombers lead, a time when Richie Hall's defense takes over. Let's go back to John Liu.
Absolutely, Rod. The Bombers' defense has yielded only 2 majors in 4th quarters all season long. Now, Mike O'Shea says that the 4th quarter defense is not necessarily a focal point in their game planning, but that dominance is a byproduct partially of success, breeding success, but also smart tactics that occasionally the Bombers' defense, and Richie Hall in particular, will notice that opposing offenses are running the same reps as they did in the 1st quarter that the Bombers already defended against successfully. Now, Jefferson Jeffcoat that says that on defense it's become a mentality that they become locked in even more when the final frame arrives, that they don't want to give up anything, whether it be yards, TDs, and especially not wins. Rod?
Well, John, yeah, the numbers bear it out just how remarkably strong that Winnipeg defense is, especially late in games, and a good start for the defense in this Alouette drive with Winston Rose on Jake Winnipeg.
Hitch screen, Rose fights through the block to step up and make the tackle.
2nd and 14 on that loss of 4. Alouettes from their 21 now. Down 7. Harris faces the heat from Jackson Jeffcoat. back in this Winnipeg lineup from the IL, and he gets a sack that'll force the Alouettes to punt it away.
Jeff Coate, 3-point stance from his DN spot. He's got the Will linebacker Jesse Briggs outside of him, pulling the tackle out. Just another workhorse in that Winnipeg front. Jackson Jeff Coate. Had a good chat with him.
Take away from him. I'm gonna keep getting him, baby.
Good a football player as he is. He was heavily recruited as well as a basketball player. He said every school that made him a scholarship offer in football also offered him in basketball.
Zima with the punt. Bombers getting it back in good shape too. Janarian Grant, midfield. And a lot more. Janarian Grant. Touchdown Winnipeg. Just like that. And Winnipeg opens it up.
Grant just exploded when he got that football, much like the screen pass we saw him catch a few minutes ago. Watch the first few steps going to his left. First few steps, accelerates away from everybody, and he's into the hole just north-south. It's him and the kicker. And Zima doesn't have a chance.
57-yard return for Janarian Grant, as Winnipeg is now closing in on a chance for win number 9 in 9 starts this season. Still time for the Alouettes, just over 6 minutes. But as mentioned before, it's often the time when the Bombers start to take over football games. 27-14, chance for Leggio to make it 2 touchdowns even. And a 14-point lead. The third quarter started, or fourth quarter, with a 14-14 tie, but all Bombers since then.
39, it was coming to your side. You gotta block the corner on it. Yep. Let's keep going. Look who's controlling, baby.
Take a look at this in real speed. Janarian Grant just explodes. For the Blue Bombers touchdown. Big play, and as we alluded to earlier, Rod, you look back to the first half of this football game when Montreal has 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery, and all they come away with is 3 points. You think Winnipeg's not going to give you that many chances. I'm going to tell you again, Jamarcus Hardrick is the key.
What can he not do?
He is the key
what can
to
he
every
not do?
Winnipeg touchdown celebration.
Well, you know what time it is.
Right tackle extraordinaire, and
when we get to the end of the year and we present the Oscar Award, best performance in a touchdown celebration, my vote goes to Jamarcus Hardrick.
Hard to go against it right now. Of course, he had the Hardrick hop years ago.
Yeah.
Remember engaging with the fans?
He's taken it
at
to the
IG
next
Field.
level.
He has. 14 points Winnipeg in the last 2 minutes, 13 seconds. Tyson Philpott. Gauthier's in, and ultimately it's Hansen that finishes it off. And we talked about him back in the Toronto game, how much he embraces the game, has a lot of fun too.
Yeah,
that was earlier.
Going airborne in the pose, the finishing pose. Right here in the midst of the dance, showing some footwork. He brings it every play and every celly.
And he likes hitting people too. He made that clear to us. Very friendly big man, but enjoys the run blocking especially. Alouettes in a deep hole now. Jeshurun Antwi bulling his way across the 45. Or Feaster, excuse me. The newcomer in for Antwi.
Still lots of time for Montreal here. 5 minutes. You know, Montreal, by the way, a team that starts 8 Canadians, 1 above the 7 mandated by the roster ratio rules. So they're able to bring Feaster in, the American, as a replacement for the Canadian running back, Antwi.
He stays in. The ball goes deep, and Winston Rose has it. Intercepted Winnipeg. Everything going right for Winnipeg now. Rose is still going. Winicky couldn't take him down. And finally he is, and a flag does come out. But that return by Rose got it inside the Montreal 45.
Winston Rose at his usual field corner position.
Major foul, blindside block, Winnipeg number 5. That's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down, Winnipeg.
He basically just kind of baits Trevor Harris on that one. He can lay off his receiver a little bit. He's aware that Winicky is there, but he knows, understanding space and time, it's going to take time for the ball to get there, and he can cover that amount of space by the time the ball arrives. Kind of lays off the receiver until Harris thinks the receiver's open, throws the ball, and Rose closes and goes and gets it.
I thought they're going to run it.
Winston Rose with his second interception of the season. And with the penalty against Willie Jefferson, it does push them back to their 51, but in great shape now, leading by 14. Driving up near midfield, then getting thrown back is Brady Oliveira. You talk about that Winnipeg defense. Didn't allow a touchdown in the fourth quarter until here in Montreal last November in the second last game of the regular season. It was a meaningless game. A lot of Bombers starters were resting in that game. So really not a blemish on a defense coordinated by Richie Hall that was absolutely outstanding last year on their road to the Grey Cup and continues to be in 2022.
This, of course, the first of back-to-back games between these two teams.
Flag comes out as the ball is thrown and nearly caught down deep in Montreal territory for Rashid Bailey.
Offside, Winnipeg, number 29. The penalty's declined, third down.
So Greg McCrae had been flagged, and no need to take the penalty for the Alouettes, who want that ball back, and the incompletion for Bailey. But a lot of work to do in very little time. 3 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock here at Molson Stadium.
And again, for as much as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers come in undefeated, Montreal has not been an easy place for them to win in recent years.
Their last victory was in 2018, so it's been a while. As mentioned, they had a very different looking lineup when they were here last year. Sean McGuire was the starting quarterback, not Zach Collaros. They rested him. And Jake Winicky, been a tougher season after leading the CFL, 11 touchdown receptions last year. He had 8 back in 2019. So Leggio to punt. They had the rush on to block it, but no, he gets rid of it. And it rolls out of bounds. A beautiful punt by Leggio. As the Alouettes, as if it wasn't bad enough, they have to start deep in their own zone after a 52-yarder inside the 5 by Mark Leggio.
Yeah, Leggio's put together a pretty nice sophomore season here so far. He's only missed 2 field goals all season, both coming in the same game, so has been perfect in 8 of 9 games to date. You know, handling all of the kicking duties this year after some ups and downs as a rookie.
The end of this game marks the halfway point in the regular season for Winnipeg. Not for the Alouettes. This is game 8 for them, but this is game 9 for the Bombers, who have yet to have a bye. Think about that. They haven't had a bye yet. They'll have 3 in the second half of the season. Deep ball. Harris, lots of coverage there. Nearly another pick. DeMario Houston had a chance, as the 3-minute warning is coming up in a game that Winnipeg is in complete control of right now. This quarter started in a tie. The Bombers now lead it, heading home up 14. We welcome our viewers in TSN5 who've been watching ATP tennis. 28-14, Winnipeg trying to close things out and improve to 9-0. Trevor Harris, the Alouettes with the ball, but it's getting late here in Montreal, and it's not getting easier. Malik Clemens tugged at his jersey, and Adam Bighill takes advantage with the interception as Harris was chucking it downfield. Another pick for that Bomber defense, again rising up, especially in the fourth quarter when it matters most.
Yeah, Adam Bighill dropping deep in coverage, bottom left corner of your screen. You'll see him appear. Malik Clemens, weak side linebacker, does a nice job as Harris tries to elude. Gives him a little tug here, affecting Harris's ability to get much on that throw. And Adam Bighill, the league's reigning most outstanding defensive player, the beneficiary.
2:40 on the clock. The Bombers in scoring position again. Great position to completely put it away, leading by a couple of touchdowns now. Another day at the office for Adam Bighill. Top defensive player last season. On the ground, room to run, Brady Oliveira takes that down.
Nice cut back here from Oliveira, starting to his left, bending it back to the right as he finds a lane.
And a gain of 11 and a 1st and goal. The last time a team went 9-0, the BC Lions of 2005. They started 11-0. The Bombers can finish this off and improve to 9-0. On the ground again, Oliveira. Icing on the cake, Winnipeg. Another touchdown. Blowing a close game wide open here in this fourth quarter.
Brady Oliveira just accelerates around the corner. Nice job at the left side of that offensive line to knock things down, give him an edge to run around. Chris Kolinkowski gets the spike that time. What a fourth quarter from the Blue Bombers.
It was tied at the start of the fourth quarter. Look at the score now. Second rushing touchdown, Oliveira, in 2022. What was 14-14, now a 21-point lead with barely 2 minutes left in this game. Zach Collaros, remarkable run. It's been talked about so many times, and rightfully so, since going to Winnipeg late in the 2019 season. His last 13 starts with Hamilton, he didn't have a win. 15 starts with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, he was 10-5. 28 starts with Winnipeg, 26-2, and bear in mind, one of those 2 losses came in a game when they had already clinched first place. They were at McMahon late in the season at the end last year. So really, in meaningful games, just 1 loss starting for Winnipeg, Zach Collaros.
Yeah, I mean, he is
just remarkable.
A guy who just literally, you know, obviously there's this fit between he and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers that has a lot to do with this success, but I also think that Zach is a guy who was a very good player when he came into this league. He and Trevor Harris came in as rookies 10 years ago with the Toronto Argonauts. But you see the value of experience, and this is a guy who, he just gets better with age as far as I'm concerned.
It's been amazing since his arrival to Winnipeg. That one regular season start, the playoff run when they were in 3rd place in 2019, had to win in Calgary, had to win in Saskatchewan, and then underdogs against Hamilton in the 2019 Grey Cup won that. And then the best team in the CFL clearly in 2021 when he was the most outstanding player. So under 2 minutes, Dominic Davis coming in at quarterback for the Alouettes.
Well, we saw Davis late in last week's game in Hamilton, remember, with the Alouettes driving. Try and keep their hopes alive in that one. Trevor Harris took a hit and was pulled out by the spotters. Concussion protocol, injury protocol.
A week from tonight, these two teams meet again in Winnipeg. And the Bombers will start the second half of their season 9-0, nearly another pick there. Winston Rose already has one tonight. So you think about this. 9 games now, 9-0, 6 of their games on the road. They have 6 games at home and 3 byes in the second half of the season.
Well, and that's going to be an interesting one to navigate as well for a team that could potentially also be looking at a first-round bye in the playoffs. That's a lot of weeks off in a sport where your preparation is very much about having a routine. It may be tough to have a routine with potentially 4 byes in 10 weeks.
They did have to address that issue last year because they had clinched early after a big victory over the BC Lions at home and had a few weeks of games that didn't matter in the standings. They'd already clinched first place. And that worked out well for them ultimately. They hosted Saskatchewan. They beat the Riders in albeit a very close Western final. Saskatchewan had led and then won the Grey Cup in Hamilton, beating the Ticats for the second straight Grey Cup. So Eugene Lewis again there, but very academic at this point, and a 21-point lead for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And by the way, the last time they started this well, you're going back to 1960, over 60 years when they started at 10-0. For Lewis, and he catches it. Still putting on a show. Too late in this game, but one of many outstanding grabs by Gino Lewis.
Yeah, Gino being Gino. Houston's done a decent job on him over there on the corner all night, but Lewis just gets up over top of him on that one and grabs that ball off the deflection.
.37 yards in that game. Davis takes off and slides. Jesse Briggs for the Bombers. Well, consecutive wins to start the season. That Calgary Stampeder team, 12-0 and 48, won the Grey Cup. BC, 11-0 start in 2005, and then teams at 10-0, several, including Winnipeg in 1960. And here come the 2022 Bombers, hitting the halfway point of their season at 9-0, one away from matching that group. By the way, that Winnipeg team in 60, under Bud Grant, they had won the Grey Cup in 58 and 59 and 61 and 62. 60 was the 1 year out of those 5 they didn't win the Grey Cup, and they had that amazing start. A dominant franchise, and they are trying to, this year, and of course we're only halfway through it, but they'd be a betting favorite right now. A lot can happen in this season, but if Winnipeg can get the three-peat, even more rarefied air in CFL history. Already what they've done for a franchise that went nearly 3 decades without winning a Grey Cup. And what has happened since is truly remarkable. Best team in the CFL, their record says it. It comes out, and so does a flag. And into the hands of Reggie White, who breaks the play to the goal line for a touchdown late for the Alouettes. See the result of the flag.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Winnipeg, number 1. The penalty's declined. Touchdown.
Reggie White's first touchdown of the season.
Dominic Davis standing in there to take a hit. White on the hash marks, a little stop and go. Another deflected ball goes the Alouettes' way on this drive. Reggie White finds the end zone.
Final minute. Willie Jefferson across
Offside.
early.
Winnipeg number 5. Half the distance to goal. Retry the convert.
The Alouettes staring down a record of 2-6 now. Taking a while to end this game.
Procedure. Montreal number 66. 5-yard penalty. Retry the convert.
And a little more chance for fans to finish up their poutine before it's time to go home, if they're still enjoying it.
The giant helmet bucket. Is that $90? Did I read that right?
Well, you get the helmet.
Well,
and that's reusable. All the poutine you want.
Yeah, free refills, is that?
Going for 2, intercepted by Willie Jefferson. Tossing it back. Bombers are going to have a little fun now and kill some clock. And they get the 2 points. Yeah, the clock doesn't run in a conversion, of course, but they can get some points, and it looks like they will, although a flag is out. DeMario Houston. Unless it's against Winnipeg, this would be a couple more points for the Bombers, but yes, the clock not counting. They were just having some fun.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Winnipeg, number 94. After distance to goal, we'll retry the convert.
Okay, so roughing the passer here on Jeffcoat, and the Alouettes can try for their 2 again.
Jeffcoat comes free inside, busted in that blocking assignment. Low on the hit, so the 2 points will come off the board. Another shot for the Montreal Alouettes. So Montreal going to a tight end formation here.
Feaster with it. And nothing happening. So it remains a 15-point Winnipeg lead. Ricky Walker says no. So here's the picture updated in the West with Winnipeg still perfect. 9-0, an 8-point lead for now over BC, although the Lions have played 6 games. And they've got Edmonton coming up, a record of 5-1 for BC, then Calgary, 10 points behind, once again, having played 6 games, but lost twice to Winnipeg. And the Bombers are opening up quite a gap in the West. And as for the East, for Montreal, well, that's been the story. Mediocrity or worse. The Argos at 3-3, and then you got Hamilton at 2-5, and the Alouettes falling to 2-6. The Red Blacks encouraged by a win in Toronto last week, and they're hosting Calgary this week and trying to get, well, they're only 2 points behind 2 teams and 4 points behind the Argos. So the race in the East, such as it is right now, certainly closer than what's going on at the top of the West Division.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of intra-divisional games coming up, so East versus East, that if somebody can take hold of that division, they've got a chance to create some space.
Mike O'Shea's a master motivator too. I mean, there'll be a lot of headlines, a lot of talk about this 9-0 team and where it sits among the greats of all time, and I can almost hear him now dismissing any such talk with another second half of the season to play, and a flag coming out on that short kickoff try by Montreal.
Ball will be placed in the spot it went out of bounds. First down, Winnipeg.
O'Shea is very good at moving on to the next game, cliche as it sounds. I remember talking to him about it last year. He won't buy in. He won't engage in these discussions of their place in history or how good. It's nothing now, right now. It's 9-0, but next game. And I think that is one of the things that's made him a very good head coach.
Yeah, and we had a good chat with Osh this week about, sort of taking the time to enjoy the win, recognizing it's not easy to win in the Canadian Football League. So, kind of reminding himself, I think, as a head coach, where your focus is so often on making corrections when you don't feel it's been your best performance, but taking the time to acknowledge and enjoy the victories and then move on to the most important game, which is always the next one.
This game was tied at 14-14. Credit the Owls in a lot of ways for keeping it close. They led for a while early, but 21 points.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, from the challenge for Montreal, as it has been for many teams, I mean, they are not the only team in the CFL that has struggled to sort of crack this Winnipeg Blue Bomber team, but their opportunities came early. You had a Winnipeg team that would predictably be dealing with a little bit of fatigue, as they're sort of been in 3 time zones in 6 days, back-to-back road games on a short week. 3 turnovers in the first half. Montreal was only able to come away with 3 points. And ultimately, that proves costly for them, that they weren't able to capitalize early when the Bombers were having that slow start.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are halfway through their regular season, and their loss column still reads 0. The most important stat remains perfect for Winnipeg. They are 9-0. And until proven otherwise, still the class of the Canadian Football League. Big fourth quarter. The Bombers take it, beating Montreal 35-20. Thank you for watching Thursday Night Football. SportsCenter is next with Jennifer Hedger and Mark Rowe. Good night, everybody.